In our exploration of ancient texts, we often stumble upon fragments that offer a tantalizing glimpse into the past. Today, we have a fragmentary Greek text that appears to be a receipt or a financial record, likely connected to a transaction involving land or agricultural matters. The preserved words include references to measurements and financial terms, suggesting an economic context. We see the word diegre, which could relate to the act of recording or documenting. Following this, we encounter pana, which might reference a deity, perhaps Pan, or it could be part of a larger name or location. The text also mentions geometrias, which translates to geometrical or land measurement, indicating the subject of land or property. The phrase Phoenikonos guatos hints at a connection to the Phoenicians, known for their trading prowess, or it could refer to a type of soil or land well suited for cultivation. The mention of etus AD suggests a specific year, anchoring this document in time. The subsequent phrases Enea triovolon dicalcon likely refer to a financial amount, possibly indicating a transaction involving 9 triobol coins, which were small denominations used in the ancient economy. As I piece together this fragment, it appears to detail a financial transaction, perhaps the sale or lease of land, involving specific measurements and monetary exchange. The reference to sesu aoi suggests a completed action, perhaps indicating the receipt has been acknowledged or finalized. This text likely dates back to the Hellenistic period, a time when Greek culture spread widely due to conquests and trade, influencing various aspects of daily life, including economics, agriculture, and even religious practices. The economic activities recorded in such texts show us how integral trade and land ownership were to the ancient Greeks, reflecting a society deeply engaged in agriculture and commerce. Everyday life in ancient Greece was tightly woven into these economic transactions. Land was a primary source of wealth, and the agrarian lifestyle dictated much of their social structure. The precision of the language used in this fragment reveals a society that valued record-keeping and accountability, much like we do today. In modern times, we still rely on contracts and receipts to document transactions, ensuring transparency and trust in our dealings. This fragment, though incomplete, opens a window into the complexities of an ancient economy, showcasing how the Greeks navigated their world through meticulous record-keeping and trade, much like we do in our own lives today. It reminds us that even in the distant past, people faced similar challenges and joys in their pursuit of prosperity and stability. In our exploration of the past, we stumble upon a fragment of an ancient Greek text that offers a glimpse into the daily affairs and administrative practices of that time. This piece appears to be a financial document or possibly a receipt, detailing transactions related to a temple or a religious institution, as suggested by the reference to ears or sacred. Let's delve into the translation of the preserved words. The text mentions Antiochos, presumably the name of an individual involved in these transactions, alongside Kassianos, which could be another person or perhaps an important figure in the context. We also see terms like epityridi, meaning supervisors, associated with the ears pieles, or sacred gate. This indicates that the activities recorded were likely related to temple management or some form of religious oversight. The phrase diaphanov eos suggests involvement or assistance from a certain phenuf, while voethu means helping or aiding. This points to a collaborative effort, possibly among various individuals or groups within the local community. The mention of sen knuvis and peders adds to the text's complexity, hinting at the polytheistic nature of ancient Greek society, where multiple deities and their associated cults were integral to daily life. Financial terms such as drachouas and ovolos indicate that this document deals with monetary transactions, with specific amounts being discussed. Dekaiouvellion refers to a specific sum, while etus marks the year of these transactions. The reference to Adrianou links this document to the era of Emperor Hadrian, a time known for its economic stability and cultural flourishing in the Roman Empire, when Greece was a significant province. This fragment sheds light on the everyday life of ancient Greeks, where commerce, religion, and community governance intertwined. The careful documentation of financial transactions reflects the importance of accountability and transparency in managing temple resources, a practice that resonates with our modern-day customs of bookkeeping and financial oversight. Moreover, the collaborative nature of the activities, where individuals were named and honored for their contributions, parallels contemporary practices in community projects and fundraising efforts. Just as today we recognize donors and volunteers for their commitments, ancient Greeks celebrated those who supported their temples and civic duties. In essence, this fragment, though incomplete, serves as a reminder of the complexities of life in ancient Greece. It provides us with a window into a world where the sacred and the mundane coexisted, highlighting the deep roots of community and commerce that continue to shape our lives today. In the dusty archives of history, we occasionally uncover fragments that whisper tales of the past. Today, we delve into an ancient Greek text, a fragment that hints at the everyday dealings of life in antiquity. This particular piece appears to be a financial document, possibly a receipt or a record of payment, reflecting the economic transactions that were vital to the functioning of society. The surviving words, though incomplete, reveal a glimpse into the life of individuals living in a bustling community. We see a name, Cerealis Celearis, perhaps the individual who initiated this transaction, along with a mention of a monetary amount. Drachouas pendeovolon, 5 drachmas. This was a common unit of currency in ancient Greece, and the phrase suggests that this document records a payment made for services rendered or goods received. The context of this text is further enriched by the mention of a specific location, Pil Isoinis, likely referring to a gate or entrance to a marketplace or city. This tells us that commerce and trade were likely taking place in a significant area, bustling with activity. The reference to Sarap Ionos ou Iros Thinbach Nuvios adds another layer, hinting at the local governance or administration involved in these transactions. It is as if we can almost hear the sounds of merchants calling out their wares, the clinking of coins, and the conversations of townsfolk discussing their daily lives. This fragment also provides a window into the economic practices of the time. The mention of laog raphias suggests the role of a public scribe or official who recorded transactions, a vital position in ancient societies where literacy was rare. This reflects a structured economy where documentation was essential for maintaining order and accountability, much like our modern-day reliance on receipts and invoices. As we consider the historical context, this fragment likely dates back to the Hellenistic period, when Greek culture was spreading and intertwining with other civilizations, particularly after the conquests of Alexander the Great. This was a time of great change, where trade expanded and cities flourished, leading to a more complex economic landscape. Reflecting on this text, we gain insight into the everyday life of individuals in ancient Greece. The need for documentation in financial matters mirrors our current practices. Just as we keep track of our expenses and require proof of transactions, so too did the people of this time. In essence, this ancient fragment serves as a reminder that, despite the passage of centuries, the fundamental aspects of human life, trade, community, and the need for order, remain remarkably consistent. In conclusion, while this text is but a fragment, it encapsulates the essence of daily life in ancient Greece, revealing how intertwined commerce, administration, and community were in shaping the world at that time. It invites us to ponder the continuity of human experience, reminding us that, in many ways, we have not strayed far from our ancestors' practices. What we have before us is a fragmentary piece of ancient Greek text, likely part of a letter or an official document. The words appear to be cut off, suggesting this was a hurried note or a record that was not preserved in full. Despite the incomplete nature of this text, we can extract some meaning and context that sheds light on life in ancient Greece. The recognizable words include kri, which could refer to a variety of things, including to decide or to judge, and alopicus, or alopix, which could reference the alopex, a figure in Greek mythology, or perhaps a place. There's also mention of files, meaning tribe or clan, and talenda, referring to a unit of weight or currency. This suggests that the document might relate to some sort of financial transaction or an administrative matter concerning a particular tribe or community. From the context of the words we can decipher, it seems this document might have been a record of a financial agreement or a decree involving a sum of money, potentially related to a particular clan, perhaps a payment of taxes or settlement of debts. The use of I ginete might hint at an action that is being taken or has been completed, adding a layer of urgency or importance to the transaction. Historically speaking, this text likely dates back to a time when city-states in ancient Greece were developing complex systems of governance and economy. The period around the 5th century BCE was significant for the rise of democracy in Athens and the establishment of various financial practices, including the use of currency and taxation as means of funding public projects and military endeavors. The mention of tribes suggests a society that still held on to traditional structures of kinship and community, blending them with the growing bureaucratic needs of the city-states. What this fragment tells us about everyday life in ancient Greece is quite profound. It indicates that financial dealings were a regular part of life, reflecting an economy that was beginning to rely more on currency rather than barter systems. Such transactions would have been common in the bustling marketplaces of Athens or other city-states, where merchants and citizens engaged in trade and agreements. When we compare this to modern practices, we can see striking similarities. Today, we still rely on written records for financial transactions, agreements, and even personal correspondences. Just as ancient Greeks documented their dealings and decisions, we continue to use contracts and receipts to formalize agreements, ensuring clarity and accountability. In conclusion, while this ancient Greek text is fragmentary, it offers us a glimpse into a world where commerce, community, and governance were intricately linked. It reminds us that, even in the midst of time, the fundamental human practices of trade and communication remain a constant thread through history, connecting us to our ancestors in ways that transcend the ages. What we have here is a fragment of an ancient Greek letter a personal correspondence that seems to convey a mixture of sentiments, possibly relating to familial bonds and communal responsibilities. The text is incomplete and somewhat disjointed, but it provides us with a fascinating glimpse into the lives and customs of ancient Greeks. From the preserved words, we can gather that the letter might be addressed to a family member or friend, as it mentions terms that refer to brother, son, and in the Lord. This suggests that the sender, likely a member of a Christian community, is reaching out to someone dear to them, perhaps during a time of distress or need. Phrases like grace and triad refer to Christian theological concepts, indicating that this letter was written in a context where Christianity was beginning to take root in the Hellenistic world. The text mentions various trials and tribulations, with words like suffer and great distress, which could imply that the sender is experiencing hardships, possibly related to persecution or personal loss. The invocation of divine assistance through prayers, "May you help," and "I hope," suggests a reliance on faith during difficult times, something that resonates deeply with modern experiences of seeking comfort and guidance through spirituality or community support. Historically, the period when such letters were written was marked by a significant transition in the ancient world. The spread of Christianity during the first few centuries CE was a time of both hope and turmoil. Many early Christians faced persecution, and letters like this one not only served as a means of communication, but also as a source of encouragement and solidarity among believers. They reveal the warm, familial tone often found in letters of the time, where personal relationships were deeply intertwined with spiritual beliefs. This fragment also touches on the everyday life of ancient people. Communication was often done through letters, a practice that might seem formal to us today, but was quite personal and intimate. Just as we might send a text message or an email to check in on a loved one, these letters served a similar purpose, bridging distances and reinforcing connections. In comparison, modern practices of communication have evolved significantly with technology, yet the underlying human need to reach out, to express love and support, remains unchanged. This letter reminds us that regardless of the centuries that separate us, the core values of family, faith, and community persist through time. As we ponder this fragment, we gain not only insights into the past, but also a sense of continuity with our present, highlighting the enduring nature of human emotions and relationships. The ancient Greeks, much like us, sought connection and solace in their words, leaving behind a legacy that still resonates today. In the dim corridors of ancient history, we often uncover fragments that offer a glimpse into the daily lives and practices of those who came before us. Today, we have an intriguing piece of ancient Greek text, which appears to be a letter or a form of receipt. Though fragmented, the words within it tell us a story of communication, transactions, and social interactions in a time long past. The text begins with the phrase "hairin," which can be interpreted as a greeting, possibly akin to "be well" or "farewell." This suggests that the document was intended for someone specific, establishing a personal connection between the sender and recipient. We can surmise that this was a correspondence rather than a formal decree, perhaps a note sent to confirm a transaction or convey a message. The subsequent sections include phrases such as "paradune" and "paradune," which translate to deliver or to hand over. This indicates that the letter likely pertains to the delivery of goods or services. The mention of drachmas refers to drachmas, the currency of ancient Greece, hinting at a financial transaction. The use of terms like mystarion suggests a payment or a wage, indicating that this document may have dealt with labor or services rendered. As we delve deeper, we find words like epistolion, meaning letter, and epimsa, which translates to I sent. This reinforces the idea that this text was a form of correspondence, possibly detailing a financial agreement or a summary of services completed. The mention of names like Apollonio and Taria could represent the involved parties, perhaps the sender and the recipient of this communication, indicating the importance of personal relationships in these transactions. This fragment dates back to a period when commerce was burgeoning in ancient Greece, particularly in city-states like Athens, where trade and the exchange of goods were central to everyday life. The economic landscape was vibrant, and letters such as this were essential for keeping track of transactions and agreements. This reveals to us a society that valued written communication, even in its simpler forms, much like we do today in our digital age. What stands out is the connection between the ancient practices and our modern customs. Just as we rely on emails and receipts to confirm transactions and maintain records, the ancient Greeks utilized letters to communicate essential information regarding their business dealings. This continuity of practice highlights the enduring human need for clarity and connection in our interactions, regardless of the era. In essence, this fragment offers us not just words, but a window into the lives of those who thrived in an age of commerce and communication. It reminds us that even in the distant past, people sought to establish trust, confirm agreements, and maintain relationships. All elements that are just as relevant in our own lives today. The echoes of their everyday existence resonate through time, inviting us to reflect on our own practices and the timeless nature of human connection. In our journey through the annals of history, we often encounter fragments of ancient texts that offer a glimpse into the everyday lives of those who came before us. Today, we delve into a fascinating piece of ancient Greek writing, which, despite its fragmentary nature, speaks volumes about the social and economic practices of the time. This text appears to be a receipt or an account related to financial transactions, perhaps documenting the details of a payment or an inventory of goods. The presence of terms like drachmon, drachmas, suggests monetary dealings, while tamiaeon, treasury or storage, indicates that this might involve the management of resources or funds. From the fragments we can translate, we see mentions of allo, another, and dio, two, hinting at quantities or items involved in this transaction. The phrase iminareskia translates to satisfaction to us, which indicates a concern for the quality or acceptance of the goods exchanged. This reflects a sense of accountability in transactions, a practice that is quite similar to the modern business principle of customer satisfaction. The historical context of this text places it in a time when commerce was burgeoning in ancient Greece, particularly in cities like Athens, where trade and finance were becoming increasingly sophisticated. The economy relied heavily on the use of silver drachmas, which were not only a means of exchange, but also a symbol of wealth and status. This economic structure laid the groundwork for modern financial systems, where documentation of transactions and the careful management of resources are crucial. What's particularly intriguing is how this fragment highlights the importance of record-keeping in ancient societies. Just like today, where receipts and invoices help us track our spending and ensure accountability, the Greeks understood the necessity of maintaining accurate records to facilitate trade and uphold trust in economic relationships. Moreover, the mention of magaron, cook, and voidiu, related to cattle or oxen, suggests that livestock and food were central to both daily sustenance and economic transactions. This resonates with how we still see agricultural products play a vital role in modern economies, with farm-to-table movements emphasizing the importance of local produce and transparency in food sourcing. Ultimately, this fragment serves as a window into the past, revealing that the principles of trade, record-keeping, and the quest for satisfaction in transactions were as relevant in ancient Greece as they are in our contemporary world. It reminds us that while systems evolve, the fundamental aspects of human interaction, trust, accountability, and the pursuit of quality remain timeless. In the rich tapestry of ancient Greek civilization, letters and documents were vital for communication, governance, and trade. Today, we have the privilege of examining a fragmentary text that likely represents a letter or an official decree, revealing insights into everyday life and social practices during that period. The text begins with a phrase that seems to express a wish or a prayer for well-being. Eukome translates to "I wish" or "I pray." This suggests that the writer was reaching out, perhaps to a friend or a family member, wishing them prosperity or success. The mention of pokal irias hints at a theme of abundance or prosperity, reinforcing the notion that the message conveys goodwill. As we delve deeper into the fragment, we encounter phrases like andigrapsun, meaning to copy or to transcribe, which indicates that the letter may have included instructions for the recipient to replicate a document or record of some sort. This points to the administrative practices of the time, where maintaining accurate records was essential, likely for legal, trade, or personal affairs. The mention of pistin, or trust, alongside episteles, which suggests sending or dispatching a letter, indicates a reliance on written communication for maintaining trust and relationships. This reflects a common theme in ancient societies where letters served not just as practical tools, but as means of fostering connections and affirming social bonds. We also see names like Priscillan and Briscillan, which appear to be personal names, perhaps of individuals relevant to the letter's context. The context might indicate a family relationship or friendship, underscoring the importance of personal ties in daily life. Historically, this fragment likely belongs to a period when letter writing was a crucial skill among the literate classes of ancient Greece, around the Hellenistic era, when Greek culture was spreading widely. The ability to read and write was a marker of education and social status, and letters served as vital records of transactions, agreements, and personal exchanges. Examining this fragment gives us a glimpse into the social fabric of the time, where communication was a blend of ritualistic expressions of goodwill and practical instructions. It reflects a society that valued relationships and the careful management of both personal and public affairs. In many ways, this ancient practice parallels modern communication. Today, we still send letters and texts that convey not just information, but also our sentiments and relationships with others. The underlying principles of trust, connection, and the need for accurate record-keeping resonate through the ages. While technology has changed the medium, the essence of human communication, seeking connection, expressing goodwill, and maintaining relationships, remains timeless. In conclusion, this fragmentary text is more than just words on a page. It is a window into the lives of the ancient Greeks, showcasing their values, social structures, and the enduring nature of human connection. As we unravel these historical tapestries, we find that the threads of the past continue to weave through our present-day interactions. This fragment of ancient Greek writing appears to be part of a letter or a decree, possibly concerning trade or agricultural matters. The text is a fascinating glimpse into the everyday life of its time, reflecting practical concerns and social interactions. As we delve into the words, we see a greeting, kairin, sherein, which translates to greetings, addressed to a person named Phaselos or similar name, indicated by phasilo. This suggests a formal yet personal tone, typical for correspondence in that era. The writer expresses a wish to receive or obtain something, as indicated by the repeated use of apollavin, apolaban, meaning to receive or to obtain. This could indicate a request for goods or service. The text also mentions syskivas, sinekuas, or packages, hinting at a commercial transaction. The context suggests that these packages contain agricultural products, specifically krython, which translates to barley. This aligns with the agricultural economy of ancient Greece, where barley was a staple food. The reference to a place, Oasin, is likely a location significant for trade or agriculture, further emphasizing the practical nature of this correspondence. The fragmented nature of the text leaves much to the imagination, but it hints at a community engaged in commerce, with clear expectations for the quality of goods. Phrases like Ina Euromen Fagin, Hina Euromen Fagin, meaning so that we may find to eat, underscore the essential connection between trade and sustenance in daily life. This letter reflects a time when communities were interdependent, relying on one another for food and resources. It reveals how relationships were cultivated through commerce and the importance of maintaining good ties for mutual benefit. The phrase amelisite, ameliseye, meaning do not neglect, indicates a concern for following through on commitments, an echo of modern business ethics where reliability and trustworthiness are paramount. Historical context is crucial here. This text likely dates back to a period when trade routes were expanding and agricultural production was essential for survival. Such letters would have facilitated communication between merchants, farmers, and local leaders, vital for managing resources and ensuring the well-being of the community. Comparing this to today's practices, we can see parallels in how modern businesses communicate. Emails and contracts now serve the same purpose of establishing trust and ensuring that goods are delivered as promised. The underlying principles of commerce, securing quality, maintaining relationships, and fulfilling obligations, remain as relevant now as they were in ancient Greece. In summary, this fragment serves as a window into the past, illuminating the practicalities of daily life, trade, and social structures. It reminds us that while the tools of communication may have changed, the essential human needs and interactions remain timeless.